And as always, as promises in studio, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long time coming since we've shared this platform, since we shared this stage together. I'm talking about the one, the only, the best health coach there. He is.
Bum, 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 bum.
Can you not be forward? Look at you being
It's just 'cause I missed you.
overexcited. I missed you
It's just
too,
'cause
my
I
friend.
missed you. I'm just excited.
It's so good to have you here. How have you
I'm so happy to
been?
be here. It's summer. We're having a good time.
Listen, you are dressed for summer.
Listen, just say I'm glowing.
You are glowing.
Thank you.
Your hair is looking fantastic.
Thank
it's
you.
giving. It's giving. It's giving. It's giving.
Yes.
How was the festive?
The festive was festive.
Okay.
It was festive. It was on for the books.
Nice.
But, you know, being a health coach,
Yeah.
I'm able to coach myself out of tricky situations.
Wow. Wow. Were you tempted? Were you tempted to kind of go against the grain maybe this festive season? You know, something that you're really strict about, but it's festive. I mean, you know, let's just.
Let's just listen. I'm human after all.
Are
I'm
you?
only human. I
Sometimes-
know that's a surprise, but
Sometimes it's like a shocker, you know?
I'm only human. So I
Yeah.
definitely took my foot off the brakes and just allowed myself to also just go with the flow.
Liquor.
But also still being like mindful. Like I would
yeah.
sort of pick and choose where I would truly like just say, okay, today,
Yeah.
forget about
I
it.
got you.
Tomorrow, okay, now we can pull back again. So it
Ah,
was kind
finding
of like
that balance.
finding that balance. You know, I love that word. You've clearly been paying attention.
No, I don't have a choice. No, with you, I don't have a choice. What do you mean?
So definitely a little bit of balance.
Nice.
And I was also helping some folks, you know, I was running a festive challenge just to sort of help other people stay balanced as well. And I think that went well. People got what they got out of it. But, you know, it was a time to just also just relax and just enjoy the sort of mood of
Yeah.
the moment and not be too hard on yourself. Yeah.
Proud of you for that. So okay. So speaking about the festive season, right? So
Yes.
speaking about the whole, the balance side of things.
Mm.
Let's talk about some of us
Some of us.
who who maybe didn't do
So
such
much
good
balancing.
balancing over the festive period. Okay, we are guilty of that very
Yeah.
thing. But now you want to talk about the ability for and more so to kick off 2025 to rest, reflect, and reset.
Yes.
Okay. So as you kick off the new year, this is something that you kind of want us to start off afresh and, you know, kind of kick off 2025 on a high and on a
Yes.
positive note. So let's start with the first part, which is rest. How exactly do we go about that? Help me out there.
For me, it's really just about unplugging, right? So if you think about the end of year, last year, people tend to go into festive season already busy. They're already busy, they're already burnt out. Then festive itself is
Yeah.
busy,
Yeah.
right? You're seeing
Yeah.
your family, you going out, it's December, so people are out there just living their best life, right? So you never get a chance to actually take a break.
Yeah.
Right? So now, this is the perfect time when most of the parties, the big days as they call it, are done now. Most people's festive budget has run
Oh,
out.
yeah.
So it's an opportune moment to actually just say, okay, let me rest.
Yeah.
Take a breath. It's not about sleeping more. It's really just about unplugging. It's about taking 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day if you can to just spend some time chilling. You're reading a book. You are switching off your social media. You are literally unplugging. You're saying no to a lot of social events. The pressure is off now. You don't need to be at so many parties.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't need to. So now's the time to say, you know what, my friend, today's not the day. I think, you know, as an example, like I work from home. I've got friends who work from home. So it's very easy to say, why don't you come over, have
Yeah.
a swim, bring the kids.
Correct.
But then when do you rest?
When do
Because
you
you're
actually
still
take time out for yourself?
Exactly. Because you on.
Yes.
That means you're being on. It means you need to engage.
Yes.
You need to host. You need to do the things. So really it is about unplugging, saying no, even though you can, just say no and take a step back and just have some time for yourself to just breathe.
Okay. So all right. So that's the rest part, which I
Yes.
think it's essential because I think 2024 in itself was a year where everybody was so busy. and we were just at the height of so many things taking place.
Yes.
And everybody was just on the go and on the move. And I think some people just felt burned out. And I'm speaking for myself. Okay. I've never had a 2020. I've never had a December like the December I had last year. Or at least let me say, I can't remember when last I had such a December where I
was a bit
actually
fun.
felt burnt out. I felt like, oh,
It was exhausting.
bro.
And you aren't alone. So many people went into festive like that. So now imagine you take that burnout into December, then you're festivating, you don't rest in January, and then work starts.
Exactly.
So when do you actually rest?
Okay, now that's the okay, so that's us resting, right? Reflection. What do we do in that mode? So how do we get into the reflection mode? Because I feel like when people think of reflection, they think of, I don't know, something else. You know, it's like they think of meditation or, but essentially, according to you, what does that look like?
Let's use your burnout as an example, right? So for me, reflection is a perfect opportunity to take a look back at, that 2024 was kind of hectic. It's kind of hectic. I don't want to feel like that in 2025. That's reflection. It really doesn't have to be a heavy, deep thing. It really depends on where you're at and how much reflection you need and how hectic of a year you had, or even just what you sort of have on the boil for 2025. But the idea really is just to create some space in your quiet time. You're resting now. It's just to think about, wow, okay, what were the things that actually, during that burnout, there must have been something in last year that stood out for me. There must have been something in December during the festive mayhem that lit me up, where I felt excited about life. I was just enjoying myself. What was that? And how can I bring more of that into my life going forward? It's also an opportunity to ask yourself, what you want to leave behind.
Yeah.
Burnout being a very good example.
Yeah, 100%.
So we want to leave burnout behind in 2024. 2024, yes, leave it behind. And we want to take a new perspective. We want to take a new approach to things. So if you know burnout was your problem, what can you do differently this year?
I love that. Yeah, I love that. And then maybe in the process of reflection, maybe start journaling or writing things down.
Exactly.
Right? Because I weirdly enough, I found that something that was very therapeutic for me, which shocked me, was when I was doing a collage. So I was on this camp. And I'll never forget. I was on the camp and I said, a collage? I'm a grown man. Why?
Please.
Ek is tussen kinders hier met collages and alles. Imagine.
Next thing, it's crayons.
Next thing, I'm like, it was the best session I've had, bro. It was so reflective.
It is reflective, and
Yeah.
it can be actually quite surprising if you just approach it from you're not planning anything, you're just naturally choosing the pictures and things that resonate with you, and it tells such a story about
Yeah.
where you are at. So absolutely, journaling, whether it's writing down words or using a visual
Yeah.
journal, is a great way, because again, it helps you reflect.
I got
So
you.
you can actually see on paper, this is what's going on for me mentally.
Yeah.
You see it on paper, and it also gives you an opportunity to spot any patterns. Because now it's not just words you've spoken into the ether and then it disappears. You can actually see a record of, hey, last year I said the same thing. 3 months ago I was saying the same thing. That seems like a little bit of a pattern. Maybe
Yeah.
we need to do something here.
Something has to change here.
Something has to
so
change.
So I love that very much, because now we get to sort of the last part
Yeah.
of this, right?
Yes.
Of the trio. So rest, fantastic. Now we reflected, brilliant. Now after we've reflected, now we need to go into a reset mode.
Yes.
Okay. Now this can be very difficult for some people, because firstly, what on earth does a reset mode even look like? Remotely, what does that look like? You know, and mentally, what does that look like? How do you approach it? So please unpack this thing when you speak about resetting. What exactly are we talking about, and how do we go about that?
So again, it all ties into, what's that new going to look like for me? So when we talk, like we just said now, we use the example of burnout and spotting patterns, so you want to do something differently, right? So a reset can really help you. You've now done the work, you reflection, you see it on paper, and you go, okay, cool. Wow, there's a lot going on here. Let me quickly take a moment.
Yeah.
It's similar to rest. So a mental reset would be similar to the rest phase, where you are creating a day literally for yourself, where you are working with intention. And intention just means that you are conscious and considerate about what it is you're going to do.
Okay.
Right?
Be
So
intentional.
be intentional. So you're spending a day for yourself. You're planning what you're going to eat, a book that you're going to read, a track that you want to listen to, whatever it is that's going to sort of refill your cup mentally. Because now what you want to do is get away from that mental fatigue,
Yeah.
that feeling of drained, feeling overwhelmed maybe by the new year. That's a big thing at the moment. People
Yeah.
feel overwhelmed by goal setting.
Yes, correct.
And new year, new me. And it's just like, just relax.
Every year is New Year, New Me. I'm just saying, elke jaar is dit dieselfde. Ek is ooit die
Dis
ding.
al triplets.
Ja, New Year, New Me. Elke jaar, maar jy dan altyd dieselfde persoon. Here asseblief.
And that's why a reset is
Vir die
important,
losie die
because at
mense.
some point you need to do something
No true.
differently.
That's so true.
At some point you need to do something differently. And that's
Yeah.
why this process is so effective, because it really helps you shine a light on where you maybe have gone awry, where you're stuck, and how you can make a shift. So mental reset is a good way to do that. It gives you the space to just think about things calmly without any distractions, to let go and then work through.
I'll be honest though, well, I mean personally, the reflection part is the one that stands out for me. Only because I feel like without reflection, I mean rest, one can argue rest, okay? But reflection is paramount to the reset.
Yes.
And so unless there's reflection, there cannot be a reset. Because
Exactly.
What are we resetting
Exactly.
if there hasn't
If
been
there hasn't been.
a reflection?
Exactly. So that's
Yeah.
that's a big one. It's almost easier to do a physical reset, because that's tangible. You can say, okay, I've had a hectic festive. I overindulged. I ate too much of Mars trifle.
Yep.
And so now I need to give my body a chance to come back to balance, right? So that's an easier one to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
That's an easier one. But with the mental, like you said, you really want to take stock. And take ownership. And that can be quite a challenging conversation. But don't overthink it. Start small. I like to encourage people to just think about the now. Think about just resetting your brain for January.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love that.
Don't
Start
think,
there.
Start there. Don't think about the entire 5-year plan. Just relax. Just relax. Take it easy. Start where you are. Start small. And just, it's the little short-term things. And then you won't feel so overwhelmed. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Listen, if it's your first time tuning in for the show for 2025, good afternoon to you. Our health coach, Candace Feinberg, in studio with us, the one, the only, the fantastic, the fabulous,
The
young,
beautiful, the gorgeous, the
beautiful,
young, the glowing.
Okay. I mean, you can do your own intro. That's cool. So just by the way, Candace is her motto in actual fact. If you've listened throughout the year last year, you'll know and you'll realize that Candace's motto is baby steps. Don't rush it. Don't feel overwhelmed by this massive task, but rather take baby steps. That is her motto. That is what she's all about. So listen, every Wednesday, Candace joins us this time of the day, and it's always like a conversation. It's like a show. I've got your weather and traffic coming up in just a moment. Game of the day comes up on the other side of 4:30. And of course, figuring out, I'm going to share with you and I'm going to let you know, are they releasing those matric results in the paper or not come next week? And Monday, that conversation happens at 20 to 5. Stay tuned for that one. It's going to be a lekker one.